if you remember, right, when Nuno was in charge, we were bottom of the distance travelled league, right? Consistently number 20. Conte came in within 2 weeks. During mid-season, he had got us to the top on the distance travelled thing. So surely the fitness regimes that they do in training every day were of a certain level anyway, to have taken them from 20th to first in the distance travelled and then maintain that for the entirety of the season. So my question is, well, how much fitness do you think, how much of the fitness levels of the players do you think dropped significantly since the end of the season or since the international break finished in that 2-3 week period, that they would be absolutely shattered from this training regime? Or if the fitness levels stayed relatively high and only dropped a little bit, then is Conte just trying to create superhumans where like they were already physically peak fitness, fitter than everybody else in the Premier League, and yet he wants to go again and wants to make them vomit like, the Marine or whatever his name is created? Cove?
Yeah, surely he's going to want the ultimate fitness machines, isn't he? It's an advantage, definite advantage. You look at the amount of games that are won in the last minutes of the game because you've got that extra bit of petrol in the tank and the other team's running on empty. If you take that away from your team, you don't give them that opportunity, you are going to miss out. At some point, it will cost you. You can't afford to be that team. You want to be the team that is the one taking the advantage.
Yeah.
So, it's a bare minimum to be super fit nowadays. Really is. All the dietary regimes, the fitness, all the technical coaches, all the sports psychologists. It's all a massive part of it now because we're talking about elite level where even the tiniest little deviance from optimal, and you're not getting the best out of your players, and just that those tiny differences can make all the difference, especially when we're looking at, well, let's face it, let's be optimistic, we have got to be looking at Manchester City in our sights. I'm not worried about who's behind us. That lot down the road with their joke signings this season, I'm not worried in the slightest. Chelsea, I think, are there for the taking. Liverpool's going to be really difficult to catch. Man City could be almost impossible to catch if their signings hit the ground running. But if we're in peak physical condition, we're prepared for that first game of the season, we don't drop easy points in any of these games that we did last season, push ourselves up to 90 points, every single bit we do to help that is going to count at the end of the season. When we're talking about 90 points, and last season, City won on 93, was it? Something like that. I don't see it beyond us to get 90 points again this season. If we're in place to hope for them to slip up somehow, or players don't fit it in, or something off the field happens, maybe they get done for financial irregularities. You never know. Teams can be. You've got
to be there to steal the opportunity if it presents itself.
Exactly. So let's be absolutely prepared in every single way. And much as the training has gone where you see the players completely exhausted at the end of it, having to flop down on the ground because they've got nothing left. Yeah. That's what you want to see for the whole season with us. Give everything. And it starts from day one, and it's this training, these sort of training sessions that make it. So I'm all for everything that's happening at the moment. I'm so supremely confident of things going into this season. And I think that the only thing lacking now is those couple of little signings that turn a promising window into a bloody good one. And if that's the case, let's get the silver polish out and open up some cabinets.
Yeah, nice, man. I like that. Yeah, good take. Adam, though, is there a chance at all that we could be overdoing it, and that you could get peak fatigue or peak fitness too early, and then fatigue or injuries, people pushing like Kulusevski? I think he's down as well, right? With a
calf problem.
With a calf problem that you picked up in the training. Like, I don't know if it could just be a little strain, but maybe it was because of the running. Like, is there any? Are we pushing the boundaries between like looking for supreme fitness and excellence and everything that we do, and maybe going a step too far with some of these players that haven't seen it before, haven't had this asked of them? Is there any chance that whether it's a negative in just the actual fitness, whether they get injured from it or whether they don't have the mental strength and go, oh fuck this, this isn't. This is too hard. I want out. Is there any of those risks at all?
I don't think that we're like in the short term. I don't think we should be concerned about risks, because the fact of the matter is that the Kulusevski thing is an example of, like, from what the reports are saying, is he had a niggling issue with the calf, and therefore they didn't put him through the training specifically because they knew that it would aggravate it and turn it into something else. So they are paying very close attention. What we need to realize, and when people like I don't know why I'm touching on this already, but all of the people who are giving out about that we focus so much on, even though we haven't won trophies, we focus on how good the training center is and how good the stadium is, blah, blah, blah. The training center is state of the art. It is superb. You want to see when these guys are getting like their measurements done, their every little last detail of their physique, their condition, fitness, everything is monitored to a T. So when they're looking at the players and they're putting them through their paces, it's like, no, these guys are at a standard where they can handle it. Kulusevski happened to be in a position where it's like, oh, I feel this little niggle in my calf. And then they're like, right, stop. We're not going to force you to do this because that will end up in a serious injury. So therefore, they know what they're doing, I think. As far as the, getting them out and after 3 weeks and seeing them in the condition that they're in, I think that does make a massive difference. Sitting around on holiday for 3 weeks and then coming back into the training, it is going to make you absolutely bollocks. Look, I can say from experience, from someone who's been going to the gym, every 5 days a week for the last 3.5 years, if you miss 2 weeks in the gym, like you work out in the gym when you first start out, everything hurts, and after a few weeks of being consistent, you don't feel it anymore. You just go in, you do your shift, you go home. You miss the gym for 2 weeks, you go back in again, and you do the same exercises with the same weight that you did the last time, and you're in bits. You might be able to get it done, but 2 days later, your arse hurts, your legs hurt, your arms hurt, everything is just really, really painful again. So these guys are being put through their paces so quickly after coming off of a holiday. It makes sense that they're that initial shock to the system, even over that short period of time, will cause them to be completely and utterly destroyed. But are we pushing them too far? I don't think so, because ultimately. Exactly what Kuva was saying with respect to what we're going for here. It's not a case of Conte going, okay, well, I've got a preseason with them. I'll just keep doing more of the same and we'll do better than last season because I have them for a longer period of time. I don't have them from November. I have them from July. The fact is he's got... he's in his mind, he's not thinking, I need to get this team from top four, fourth place finish to a third place finish or a second place finish. This man wants to win the title. And to win the title, he's not going to be thinking to himself, okay, I'll just do more of the same, or, just put them through a little bit more intense training. He wants these guys to be the elite of all elites. And that's why they're being pushed to that degree. My long-term concerns are far more pressing, I think, more pertinent than the short-term concerns. I think they will be able to manage, just like every other team that ever was put through their paces by Conte have managed. And they've gone on and they've won silverware. The problem will come potentially in a couple of seasons' time when the players are like, I just can't do this anymore. This is just it's so grueling. We'll see what happens by that time. It might not be the case, but I would say that's more of a concern than what they're going through now. What they're going through now is getting them to the absolute peak level where they will be able to go up against a Man City and a Liverpool, who, by the way, are possibly going to underperform potentially this season. If we got to strike while the iron is hot. Liverpool just played Manchester United yesterday and got battered 4-0.
Yeah,
and
it was Liverpool's top players against Manchester United's like C team.
Absolutely. Well,
and have you seen Manchester United Twitter blow up? They suddenly think they're Champions League, Champions League. I think they're champions contenders because they smashed Liverpool in the.
No, Liverpool had a weakened team.
Liverpool.
Obviously it was weaker, but the Man United's team was pretty poor as well, though.
United were missing Ronaldo, obviously, but I think that the two teams were still you could see both of those teams coming out and playing in the Premier League. Neither of the teams looked like that they were so weakened that they just threw out a friendly team and went screw it. Because even Klopp said in an interview, he was like, "There's never a friendly between Man United and Liverpool, never." They didn't go out to lose that game, and yet they lost 4-0. And then like Manchester City are going to be making such drastic changes this season because of the players that they brought in. They want to play with the number 9 now, which they haven't done for a couple of seasons. You know, they may end up getting a number of games, could be half a season, to try and get themselves into a position where they're able to fully understand how they're going to form, you know, the way that they're going to structure the formation of the team. So while they're still figuring things out, you know, Liverpool have lost Mane and they've got to bring in Darwin Núñez and stuff like that. While they're trying to figure out what's going to happen now with the team in a kind of sort of a transition, we can hit the ground running and potentially outdo them this season. Do you know what I mean? So Conte's thinking that. Conte realizes that this is where his head needs to be at. He's not going for second or third place. He wants to win the title. And if you as well, but just on the Troy Parrott thing as well, Troy Parrott was the only player, as far as I'm aware, he was training in Greece for the 3 weeks that everybody else was on holiday. And you said yourself, Troy Parrott, according to Alistair Gold, he outperformed everybody. So he was the only person that hadn't taken time off. He went straight to Greece. He went through a rigorous training regime of his own before he even went on this Korea tour. So when you keep up the momentum and when you're constantly pushing yourself, you're able to operate on those levels. And it's all the other guys who took their holidays that were buckled. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think they're being pushed too hard. I think this is exactly what we need to push for the number 1 spot next season.